Wonder Woman 787, Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad writing with Emanuela Lupacchino on the art. So, yeah, we're back to Wonder Woman after this event's taken place. And the weird thing about this issue is it's a bit of a roller coaster because the first half of the issue is very much still just kind of like tying up some loose ends from the event, and also
I guess that event did deal with that guy.
Yeah. That was one of the disappointing things about it, is that we like that annual that teased this story element with this character, with the people who used to be on Themyscira and were going to wage war, and it didn't seem like that was going to be part of Trial of the Amazons, but it turns out that it was seemingly part of it, and this was, so it was kind of a weird read, like not having read the event, to be honest.
So what I think happened is that he had something to do with the death of Hippolyta, and I don't know exactly what that was, and he interrupted the contest. But because Diana, it ends up getting solved, and now Nubia is the queen. Officially.
Yeah. So I'd say the first half of this issue was disappointing and just kind of a little tedious. Not because it was poorly written or anything, but just because it was like it's dealing with stuff that I don't really know about, and it's also disappointing because I was hoping that we'd get a story with this character.
Him just in a submarine parked off of Themyscira, I thought was just hilarious. Because it's just a weird. That's what this book's been since this writing team's been on it. Is when it's weird and it hits, it's like fun weird. But it's when it's weird and it kind of misses, it's just awkward and I don't know what I'm reading. And it vacillates between those two, especially this issue, because I feel we get both. The fun weird and the awkward weird.
This is the thing. The second half of the issue kind of is like, okay, well, this is now setting up what the new direction is, what the new story be, and it's obviously dealing with stuff that was kind of bubbling. We had Cisco. Or Dr. Psycho, if you want to call him.
I still want to know how to pronounce that, and I can't find a good guide.
What?
Because I feel like it's spelled differently from Psycho to where it's not Psycho, but I feel like that's why he's called that, because it sounds close enough. I don't know.
But it sets up that Siegfried's living with Steve, and we've got kind of I'll call it an Angel investigation style setup here, where Etta and Steve have got their own little branch of Checkmate now in Washington, and they've got a little. It used to be a post office, I think he says, that they're working out of as an office. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of liking this new stuff. Because this is the thing. There was one thing in the back half that I thought was really weird. So it does tie into Dr. Psycho stuff a little bit, but like Etta's reaction when someone throws some milk at the car, when she goes up the stairs and pulls out a gun on them, I was like, whoa, Etta, like.
As far as we're concerned at this point, it's some kids throwing some milk at the car.
Yeah.
Hey, but Etta's seen some stuff. So, I'm just saying, she's...
And then it seems like Psycho is manipulating people with milk.
Yeah, that comes up later, yeah.
Like, what?
And I'm okay. I'm okay with that as a weird thing, because it's Dr. Psycho, he's doing weird shit with he's like, Joe Rogan style podcast that he's got every week.
That's what I want to say, is like them making Psycho the patron saint of toxic masculinity, I love. Just because of his talking points I have heard through.
Right, I think that's kind of my problem, is it's a little bit too...
on the nose. It's
too just lifted from.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a character anymore. It feels like I'm just reading.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Dr. Psycho. It feels like someone putting words in Dr. Psycho's mouth, right? Like the
guy who's stirring the milk, where it says, this is manifest destiny, and it heavily on the man part of manifest, and Psycho calling you got to drink your milk because otherwise the soy boys will cry.
Yeah. Like, some of the dialogue's a bit on the nose. Like, I can't deny that.
Like, that's how I know I spend on different parts of the internet than you guys do. I have encountered people that say stuff like this for real.
I have as well, but that's my problem, is that I don't feel this as so I get the point, but it feels like
it should be more clever, right?
I feel like it's just lifted from that. I could probably get away with the guy on the bridge saying that, because he's one of the brainwashed followers, so to speak. But Psycho, I feel, needs to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like in a weird way that's like almost it sounds like I'm trying to give people like Joe Rogan credit for being smarter, and I'm not. But I feel like if you're doing Psycho as, okay, no, he's the big villain, he's actively doing this, and he's meant to be smart and knows what he's doing. I feel like I'd want him to be better than this.
Right,
like,
you want him to be more conniving about it, where he's like, yeah, they'll just, I could say anything, they're going to eat it up, right?
Yeah.
You want something like that in there. But yeah, no, just the fact that it's so spot on, and seeing, like, seeing Doc Psycho say soy boy, I thought was hilarious. Just because that's like one of the worst insults. Like, when I say worst, someone calls you so, you're kind of like, okay, whatever. I can't take you seriously.
Yeah,
it means nothing.
And it goes, to like for the juggler as well. He starts saying, "I hope all the Themyscirans die like their queen did."
Yeah,
saying dark shit like that.
And that's what I like, because seeing some of these parts on the internet, it starts with like the soy boy thing, and then it ends up with like, oh yeah, no, they're trying to take our culture away from us, and we have to fight back. And you're just like, oh, how'd you get from that to that? So I did like how it seems like it's this goofy thing that Psycho's saying, but if you're actually paying attention to it, he's telling you what he wants to do up front.
I do love his new villainy ink, though, that he sort of runs down at the end. It's such a pulpy set of characters.
It's so cheesy in the best way.
We have Dr. Poison, who's the alchemist. We have Professor Calculator. We got basically a
Calculus.
Calculus.
Oh, sorry, Calculus, yeah. And we have Sweetheart, which is actually a put together, like one of those mirror versions, I think, of Wonder Woman. And then we got the Twin Shadows, who are only seen from like silhouettes from behind the screen. So we have this wacky, villainy. He says it the full way. He says villainy incorporated.
Yeah,
it's so stupid, right? And this is the part where I'm like, I can see the fun.
Oh yeah, I love this. Yeah. Like this roll call at the end of all the villains, and Dr. Psycho being the main villain. I'm all in for this. And then Steve and that having like their own little office that they're now solving like crimes out of. Yeah, all of this is fun.
Checking out stuff for Checkmate. Yeah, and just the way that Villainy Incorporated works, right? Where you have the Alchemist is there, Dr. Poison, which is like one of the first Wonder Woman villains, right? That's why they were in the original movie. Bringing them back, and because how Siegfried died was a poison, right? And then you have Professor Calculus, who has created all these algorithms to make money by not doing anything. You know.
But the last thing is he claims he can predict like their enemies' every move. Yeah, this is the likelihood that they're going to do this. Blah blah blah
and whatnot. And so, I can't wait to see this blow up on Psycho. Just because, again, in my head, it's the Harley Quinn
is the best version.
Yeah, and so he cannot do anything right ever. And so to see this to blow up, but yeah, and him also showing his hand, calling the dupe more like a pet, and he's so gross. So props on the writers for nailing how gross, Clooney and Conrad, Dr. Psycho is. But
so I like the back half of the issue, other than overreacting to the milk throwing, which was just felt a bit weird.
And I don't know if that's just like, did we miss stuff during the event? Like, has there been a subplot with this where this would have made more sense to us?
Could be.
Possibly,
also, it looked like at a point where Edda's listening to Psycho's show, it's like she's zoning out. So I guess she being affected by it just by,
Maybe that's part of it. Yeah, maybe he's having an effect on people who disagree with him as well.
Yeah, and it's just, by you're passively taking it in as well. Maybe that's part of it too. I'm not quite sure. The Luca Pacino art, I feel, isn't the strongest. Like, I love Luca Pacino's art. Like, it's usually one of my favorite.
I think it's actually really strong in the first half.
And then as it gets going, it kind of falls off.
But all the stuff on the submarine, the start is great. That flashback sequence of the storytelling, where it's framed within the lasso, kind of in like really rounded motions for the panels.
Yeah, with the Cyclops.
Fantastic. Yeah. But the stuff in the city at the end is less strong. It's not bad, but it's notable.
Yeah, it's I would say it's bad, and I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just I had to double check to make sure it was Lou Pacino towards the end and see if there was another artist. Just as it looked like it was someone that was emulating Lupacino's art style.
Yeah, what was funny is I actually forgot it was Lupacino, and it was when I was checking the names to get the list, I was like, oh, it was Lupacino. I didn't even realize. And,
and that's
which maybe says something.
Yeah, the Lupacino art.
I did like Siggy getting really excited about his tie, and then he's not even wearing a shirt; it's just a t-shirt.
Also, how he crushes the paper cup, because he's still not used to.
It's basically,
and then he's like, not again.
They're doing the first Thor movie. They're doing the fish out of water stuff where he's just loving all these little things of It
is not going to end well for him.
Probably not.
He has a good roommate and Steve, and they get along, and Diana doesn't want them to know that they have history with one another. So I kind of like that little subplot too. Yeah. Steve seeing someone. Yeah.
Which I think that was brought up before though. I think we knew that.
That was because he was waiting for her. To come back, and that's why she kind of waited. Because I
will say then I appreciate that it reminded me here because I had forgotten.
Yeah. But yeah. Did this make you guys want to go back and check out Trial of the Amazons?
No, not
me neither. Okay, we're good.
As disappointing as it is to know that I don't get to see the story with Altoon that we had kind of anticipated for a while.
Yeah. Well,
I don't care about that.
There's more to Altoon too because he's talking to some dark voice, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce his name? I was saying Altoon, but I was reading it in my head.
It's just two U's, right?
Yeah. I don't know why.
We should talk about his origin real quick too. They get into it that he was part of this army that came out of Tartarus, to slay monsters and stuff.
Really cool outfits.
But whoever released them set them against the Amazons and didn't end up well, so that's why he's Altoon the survivor. And he swore a vengeance against the Amazons. So is it Amazons or Amazonians? Just Amazons, right?
6.5 I guess.
Yeah. I just realized that. But yeah. So I like that. That's a fun new. I not that he's from Diana's past, but I do like when they bring up stuff from before Diana. That maybe
I did like him being like, "Hey, I was here when you were just clay."
Yeah. I do like that because it plays on. You don't know everything. You know the Amazon side of things, but.
Yeah, that stuff was fine. I was all disappointed because the stuff it sounds like happened with them and his ending felt really underwhelming, but obviously I didn't read the story, so obviously it probably would feel underwhelming no matter what. I think the disappointment I have from this issue is that this was the jump back on issue, so it's kind of a shame that you still have to definitely read it going forward because the back half is very much the start of the new story, but it's also got all this stuff in the first half that is like kind of epilogue to the event.
Yeah, which is a shame because I thought that epilogue stuff would have been in whatever the one shot was that was after the event, maybe. And maybe if there wasn't one, I don't know, then there should have been one and we could have had that in there and we could have just felt a lot fresher coming back into this.
Yeah. Instead, the first half was kind of like just a constant reminder, hey, you missed a few issues, you didn't read the event.
It felt like here's 8 editor's notes for the wiki page that you can just go read at some point.
So that's a bit of a shame as far as jumping back into it goes, but I am looking forward to the next issue now. It's just a shame this one was kind of half.
And it is one of them that is kind of us bringing that bias in, because if you read the event, you probably enjoyed this issue more than we did.
Yeah,
probably, yeah. But we can only look at it from our own perspective, and we didn't want to read the event. We weren't interested in buying 4 other books for 2 months, so here we are. But all right, Matt, what are you giving Wonder Woman 787?
I'm gonna give this one a 7.
Cart?
I'm gonna give it a 6, despite really liking a lot of the stuff in the back half. The first half just kind of makes it. I can't really go any higher than that.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna agree with the 6. And I probably liked the back half a bit more than you did, but I just got nothing out of that first half. It was like a chore to get through it, just to get to, because especially since as I was reading it, I didn't know if I was going to get like the fresh half, which I was hoping the whole book was going to be. I thought, oh, is this just all going to be epilogue and it's going to be next issue before we really start doing stuff? So I was pleased that we could be transitioned halfway through, but yeah.
So
6 out of 10.